Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Clarion Energy News. I'm Teresa Hansen, Vice President of Global Content for Clarion Energy. Here are some of the top stories we're covering. Story number 3. As efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic continue, I think it's important to point out that many electric utilities and other companies in the electricity industry from around the world are stepping up to help. For instance, on-site power engine maker Cummins announced last week that it will convert one of its diesel filter plants to produce particulate filters used in respirators for healthcare professionals. Cummins will use existing manpower and equipment at its Nelsville, Wisconsin facility. Industrial artificial intelligence company Spark Cognition is responding to the coronavirus crisis by working with several technology partners to produce face shields and prototype ventilators. Spark Cognition will produce the ventilator prototypes using industrial 3D printers. Energy service company Direct Energy donated $600,000 to the Neighbor to Neighbor program, which helps Texans pay their power bills. Duke Energy Foundation provided funds to North Carolina's K-12 education organizations. And global independent power producer Aska Energy has donated nearly $44 million to support the fight against COVID-19 in Ghana. These are just a few examples of many initiatives companies in our industry have taken to help others. All of our Clarion Energy Media brand websites have aggregated their COVID-19 stories into one page. So if you want to learn more about companies' initiatives and strategies, you can find links to the COVID-19 stories on all of our homepages. That's it for me this week. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.
Thanks, Teresa, and good to see you all out there. So story number 2, in Poland, Nokia said it partnered with PGE Systemy to deploy a 5G-ready, industrial-grade private wireless network following the successful trial of a 450 MHz proof-of-concept network that has been in operation since April of 2019. PGE Systemy will use that proof-of-concept infrastructure to further develop its countrywide critical communications network. And the final private wireless network will potentially support 15,000 to 20,000 private radio users over LTE 4.9G, as well as wireless connectivity for up to 14 million smart meters and 35,000 existing and future SCADA connections. That 450 megahertz band can support machine-to-machine communications, including smart meters and wireless SCADA connections required, for example, with wind turbines. Future applications of the network may include distributed energy resource management and other smart grid applications. And story number 1, wind is now America's largest renewable energy provider, said OWEA in its new annual market report. 9.1 gigawatts of wind power capacity was installed in 2019, and that represents 39% of new utility-scale power additions. With those additions, operating wind power capacity in the U.S. now stands at 105 gigawatts. And wind energy is now the largest provider of renewable energy in the country, supplying over 7% of the nation's electricity in 2019. OWEA said that the U.S. wind energy industry also supports 120,000 American jobs, 530 domestic factories, and $1.6 billion a year in revenue for states and communities that host wind farms. So Texas and Iowa led the country with wind power additions in 2019, with both states installing individual record amounts of wind power for a single year. And alongside that growth of onshore wind, offshore wind is increasing. Many states are looking to harness the power of offshore wind up and down the East Coast. They're aiming to develop over 25 gigawatts of offshore capacity by 2035, with 16 gigawatts of those new targets just announced last year in 2019. In addition, corporate buyers are increasingly relying on wind energy to power their businesses. Private industry accounted for 40% of the power purchase agreements signed in 2019, with Walmart and AT&T the top 2 corporate wind buyers of the year. But there were 14 newcomers entering those wind energy power purchase agreements, diverse industries from all across the areas, including Baker Hughes, Estee Lauder, and McDonald's. And of course, like all industries, the wind industry is struggling under the COVID-19 pandemic. UWEA said the pandemic is putting an estimated of 25 gigawatts of wind projects at risk. And that represents $35 billion in investment and the potential loss of over 35,000 jobs. The industry will continue to work with U.S. Congress and other renewable energy leaders to address those challenges and ensure that projects have the flexibility to continue development. And on that topic, we have 3 COVID-19 related energy industry events I want to tell you about coming up. The first 2 are this Wednesday, April 23rd, and next Wednesday, April 30th, and those are hosted by Hydro Review, and the topic is operating hydroelectric facilities amid COVID-19. And the last webcast I want to tell you about will take place on Wednesday, May 13th, and that will discuss workforce challenges for power and utilities during COVID-19. You can find information about them by visiting hydroreview.com or powereng.com and clicking on the webcast links. That's all I got for you today. I'm Jennifer Runyon for Clarion Energy News. Thank you for watching.